Hey guys, Tesla Groupie here. I'm here to discuss how I made $2,100 in the stock market this morning on closed positions. First of all, let me introduce myself. Although I am new to YouTube, I don't have a fancy background and a fancy setup, I am not new to trading. I feel like I have mastered my wheel strategy, the way that I trade it, by selling cash secured puts, once assigned, selling covered calls on leveraged ETFs. And here's the reason I like leveraged ETFs. If you are bullish on an underlying stock, Tesla, AMD, Coinbase, so many more, you can pick a leveraged ETF such as TSLL AMDL, CONL, and they are much cheaper to trade. They are 2x leveraged, so they move a little faster. And because they're heavily traded, they have a high IV, which means your premiums are going to be higher. It gives you a little more flexibility due to the price point versus the underlying stock, which is usually quite a bit higher. So at the beginning of this year, I started heavily trading TSLL due to the fact that we were in a bull market and Tesla was lagging. The sweet spot for TSLL is between $10 and $14. I was heavily selling cash secured puts. On top of that, every once in a while getting assigned shares, which I wanted at a $12 or less cost basis. So I ended up with 2,900 shares at a $12 cost basis. I was selling covered calls on half of my position. So I ended up losing quite a bit of shares at $16, at $20, and then a few at $23, which again, good profits, got my buying power back and continued selling cash secured puts. Now TSLL is at 21 and above. So this morning I went ahead and sold 100 more shares outright to just collect some profits. So I made $870 on that trade. I still have cash secured puts remaining and I have 1,100 shares remaining. I will sell covered calls on half of that position. Not the full position because I don't want to cap my profits and potentially miss out on a big run up. On the other hand, the covered calls will protect me from the downside. If we drop some, I will still make money on those. So the next ETF that I went into was AMDL. Again, same analysis. The stock market is running. We are at all-time highs. AMD was lagging. It's a good stock, but lagging. So unfortunately, it ran up big time this morning. So I only was assigned 200 shares a couple weeks ago at a $9.70 cost basis. I also have had 28 cash secured puts. I would have loved to have entered more of them, but I didn't get the opportunity before the run up. So this morning I went ahead and sold 100 of my AMDL shares. My profit on that was $762. I still own 100 shares. And then I closed out 10, what was the expiration? October 17th, $9 cash secured puts. My profit on that was $520. I still have 18 contracts remaining, and I will let those ride for a while. I may close them out at 80% if I need some buying power back for a different trade. Otherwise, the strike on those is $9. So I might as well let them ride a little bit longer and make as much money as I can on these contracts. Closing out 10 cash secured puts and selling 100 shares of AMDL and 100 shares of TSLL, I got some buying power back. I got $12,800 buying power back to use for something else. So I am looking at BBAI, Big Bear AI. It is around a $6 to $7 stock. Its sweet spot is between $6 and $8. I do not want to be assigned shares above $6. I do own shares now, and I sell $8 covered calls. So I am going to heavily go in with some BBAI $6 cash secured puts at various expiration dates. I'm also looking at MSTU. That is MSTR 2X leveraged ETF. Although it's a wild one and it moves a lot, it is only $5. So it's a good one, especially for people with small portfolios. It still pays a pretty good premium. I would not want to be assigned shares above $5 on that ETF. And if you are, selling covered calls is very profitable as well. Another one is BMNU. BMNU is, it's going to be wild, so you have to be very careful with this one. It's BMNR, which I'm bullish on, 2X leveraged. BMNR already moves quite a bit. So being 2X leveraged is going to move a lot, but the IV is very high on this, which means the premiums are very high on this. So if you have a high risk tolerance, it's definitely going to be a good one for trading. I'm also looking into BULL. It is lagging a bit today. I don't know how long this will lag for, but I am looking at maybe starting a position in that. I've never traded it before, so it'll be just a tester position. If you're new to trading or you're not sure about a certain name, the best thing to do is start with either one contract or try paper trading first. Also, anytime that I enter a position, I enter with a starter position. If I ultimately want to sell 10 contracts, I only sell 5 at first. You can always add to the position. If the stock dips and you can get higher premium, add contracts. If the stock runs up, go ahead, close it, take profits, and you can move on to the next expiration date. Keep it rolling. You don't ever want your money to be sitting idle for too long. You're losing money by doing that. So have your watch list of 10 to 12 stocks and ETFs, and when one is down, that's when it's time to jump in. Anyway, hope this helps. Thanks so much.